That moment when you walk into a room and suddenly forget why you went there? It can feel harmless at first, maybe even a little funny. But then it happens again later that same day. You search for your car keys longer than usual. A familiar name sits right on the tip of your tongue. But it won't come out. And quietly, a question begins to form in the back of your mind. Is this just normal aging, or something else? Now imagine this for a moment. What if one of the hidden reasons behind that growing brain fog wasn't aging at all, but something sitting right inside your bathroom medicine cabinet? Today we are talking about a topic that surprises many adults over 60. Certain commonly used pills, medications many people assume are completely harmless, have been linked in multiple studies to memory problems, confusion, and even increased risk of cognitive decline. In fact, research supported by the National Institutes of Health has shown that some medications affecting brain chemistry may increase the risk of memory impairment in older adults by as much as 30 to 50% when used long-term. That statistic alone catches people off guard, because these aren't rare prescriptions. Many are widely used across the United States every single day. But here's where things get interesting, and a little concerning. Most people taking these medications have absolutely no idea they may be affecting the brain. They trust that if something is sold over the counter, or prescribed for sleep, allergies, or anxiety, it must be safe long-term. And yet, scientists studying aging brains are discovering something fascinating about what happens after age 60. The body that once processed medications effortlessly slowly changes. Your liver becomes a little slower at filtering chemicals. Your kidneys become less efficient at removing drug residues. But the biggest change may happen inside the brain itself. You see, the brain has a delicate communication system made up of billions of nerve cells sending chemical signals back and forth. One of the most important of these chemicals is called acetylcholine. Think of acetylcholine like the brain's internal messaging system. It helps you store memories, recall names, focus on conversations, and stay mentally sharp. But certain medications quietly block this chemical. And when that happens repeatedly over time, the brain's signals begin to weaken. Memory retrieval slows down, focus becomes harder, and that foggy feeling many adults describe starts creeping into daily life. Now, to be clear, medications themselves are not the enemy. Many of them play an important role in managing real health conditions. The problem is that some drugs were originally studied in younger adults, not people in their 60s, 70s, or beyond. So the aging brain sometimes reacts very differently. Imagine your brain like an old filing cabinet that has organized memories for decades. Each drawer contains thousands of experiences, names, and details. When everything works smoothly, you can open the drawer and retrieve what you need instantly. But certain medications are like putting glue inside the drawer tracks. The cabinet still works, but suddenly it's harder to open. Slower, sticky, and over time, that friction adds up. Have you ever noticed that your thinking feels slower after taking certain medications? Or that you feel unusually drowsy or mentally foggy after a nighttime pill? Many people assume that's just the medicine doing its job. But sometimes it's doing more than that. Let us talk about the first type of pill that researchers have become increasingly concerned about in adults over 60. Many people take these when allergy season arrives. You wake up with watery eyes, itchy skin, or a stuffy nose, and you reach for a familiar antihistamine tablet that has been sitting in the medicine cabinet for years. It seems harmless. After all, millions of Americans use allergy medications every spring. But older antihistamines, especially the sedating kinds, work by blocking histamine in the body. The problem is they also block acetylcholine in the brain. And as we just discussed, acetylcholine is one of the key chemicals responsible for memory formation. Studies published in journals of geriatric medicine have repeatedly shown that long-term use of these sedating antihistamines can be associated with increased risk of confusion and cognitive decline in older adults. That doesn't mean every allergy pill is dangerous. But it does mean the older formulas can affect the brain more strongly than most people realize. So what can someone do if they still struggle with seasonal allergies? Many doctors now recommend discussing newer, non-sedating antihistamines that don't interfere with brain chemistry in the same way. These are widely available and designed to be safer for older adults. And that leads us to another category of pills that often surprises people. Sleep medications. If you've ever laid awake at 2 a.m. staring at the ceiling, you understand how tempting it can be to reach for something that promises rest. Sleep becomes lighter as we age. The body produces less melatonin, and nighttime awakenings become more common. So when a pill promises 8 hours of uninterrupted sleep, it can feel like a blessing. But certain sleep medications slow brain activity by depressing the central nervous system. In younger adults, the brain recovers quickly by morning. But in adults over 60, the sedative effects may linger. Researchers sometimes refer to this as morning carryover. That groggy feeling when you wake up, the slow thinking, the difficulty concentrating during the first half of the day. Over months or years, repeated exposure to strong sedatives may interfere with the brain's natural sleep cycles, which are critical for memory consolidation. Here's something fascinating many people don't realize. Deep sleep is when the brain performs its nightly cleanup. During those stages, the brain flushes away metabolic waste and strengthens new memories formed during the day. But certain sleep medications can suppress those deep stages. So, while you may be unconscious longer, the brain may actually be doing less restorative work. If sleep has been difficult for you lately, one helpful step may be focusing on sleep habits before medication. Regular bedtime routines, limiting late evening screen exposure, and getting morning sunlight can help reset the body's natural sleep clock. But now, let's talk about a category of pills that is even more widespread. Many adults over 60 take them daily without a second thought. Medications used for bladder control. These drugs are commonly prescribed for overactive bladder symptoms, frequent urination, sudden urges, or nighttime trips to the bathroom. But here's the hidden piece many patients are never told. Most bladder control medications work by blocking acetylcholine signals to the bladder muscle. That helps reduce spasms and urgency. But remember what acetylcholine also controls? Memory, focus, learning. In fact, several large population studies have found that cumulative exposure to strong anticholinergic medications, including some bladder drugs, may be associated with increased risk of cognitive decline later in life. That doesn't mean someone should abruptly stop a prescribed medication. But it does highlight the importance of reviewing medications periodically with a healthcare professional. Sometimes newer alternatives or lower doses may offer similar benefits with fewer effects on the brain. And now we arrive at something that may surprise even more people. Certain medications used for anxiety and stress. Life after 60 can bring many changes. Retirement, family shifts, health concerns. It is completely understandable that some people turn to medications to manage anxiety or help calm the mind. But a class of drugs known as benzodiazepines, often prescribed for anxiety or sleep, has been studied extensively for its effects on the aging brain. These medications slow down nerve activity to produce relaxation. But in older adults, they may also slow reaction time, reduce alertness, and impair short-term memory. Some studies have even linked long-term use with higher rates of falls, which is another major health risk after age 65. The connection alone has led many geriatric specialists to encourage caution with long-term use in older populations. But the final category of pills on this list may be the most surprising of all, because they're not prescription medications. They're sold right on pharmacy shelves, cold and nighttime combination medicines. Many of these products contain multiple ingredients: antihistamines, cough suppressants, decongestants, and sedatives, all combined in one tablet. For someone over 60, that combination can create a powerful cocktail affecting the brain, blood pressure, and nervous system at the same time. That is why experts often recommend carefully checking labels or asking a pharmacist which formulas are safest for older adults. Now you might be wondering something important. If these medications are so common, what should someone actually do? The answer isn't panic, and it's definitely not suddenly stopping medications without medical guidance. The real goal is awareness, becoming an informed protector of your own brain health. Many experts now recommend what is called a medication review, at least once a year for adults over 60. This means bringing every medication, prescriptions, over-the-counter pills, and supplements, and reviewing them with a healthcare professional. Often, people discover they're taking two medications that do similar things, or using an older drug when a safer alternative exists. Small adjustments can sometimes reduce cognitive side effects dramatically. And there are also simple daily habits that support brain health regardless of medication use. Staying physically active increases blood flow to the brain. Social conversations stimulate neural networks, and regular sleep allows the brain to clear toxins and strengthen memories. If this topic resonates with you, I'd love to hear something in the comments. Have you ever taken a medication that made you feel unusually foggy or forgetful? Your experience might help someone else watching this video recognize a pattern in their own life. And if you find these research-backed insights helpful, consider subscribing to Dr. Andrew Collins' Senior Health for more practical guidance designed specifically for adults over 50. Because the goal here is simple, not fear, not confusion, but clarity. Your brain has carried decades of memories, wisdom, and life experience. Protecting it doesn't require complicated strategies. Sometimes it simply starts with asking the right questions about the medications we take every day. And when you combine that awareness with healthy daily habits, regular movement, restorative sleep, meaningful conversation, you give your brain the environment it needs to stay sharp for years to come. Growing older does not mean losing control of your health. It means becoming more informed about how your body works and how to support it. And the more you understand these small hidden influences, even something as ordinary as a pill in the medicine cabinet, the more power you gain to protect the most important organ in your body, your mind. Because knowledge, especially about your own health, is one of the strongest forms of independence there is.